A very good morning to you from the Thermal Club, California, USA, as we kick off the 2026 Ferrari Challenge North America season. Fantastic calendar coming up. Drivers who've changed classes. There are the cars down in the pit lane ready to go. We are ready and raring to go. My name is Andrew Coley. I'll be your guide throughout the season. Alongside me in commentary is Tony Verlander, who is a Ferrari ambassador and an excellent GT driver. So he'll be giving us the insights we need. Nina Jade Paul will be reporting from down in pit lane. This is where we're starting at the Thermal Club. We're then heading across to Florida to Sebring. Not been there for a couple of years. Then the Circuit of the Americas, likewise. That's in Austin, of course, where the Formula One of the three Formula One races is held over here in the USA. Laguna Seca after that in June. In July, we head down to Sonoma. So those two races very close together geographically. That will help the teams with the truck movements. And then, of course, Road America to round out the American side of the season before those drivers who are in contention for the titles will head to the Finale Mondiale. Let's take a look at the track here at Thermal. So it's a series of hairpins at one side of the course. Then we've got the long carousels at the other side. That section, Tony, from 10 through to 14 has a little bit of undulation in it as well.
Yeah, it's a very technical track. Reminds me a little bit of European Paul Ricard. Very smooth, a little bit of runoff areas. But like I said, very technical. And I think the boiling point of the weekend is really the ambient temperature, the track temperature. So now the conditions are optimal. So very cool track temp, ideal for the Pirelli tires. Later in the afternoon, not so sure about it. Yesterday I saw 115 Fahrenheit on my rental car,
Ooh.
So that's quite hot.
Yeah, very hot indeed. It was the drivers yesterday were saying they're actually finding it quite hard in the car when they're waiting in the pre-grid. You know, everything's switched off, so they'll want the foil covers over the screens. They're saying that the tires are at their absolute peak, and we know this for this is normal for only 3 laps. So sometimes they get up to 5 laps out of them in terms of qualifying. What that's going to mean in these qualifying sessions this morning is they must get a lap in early, particularly these Pirelli runners who, of course, are very quick, and we'll look to nail that one early on. Down in pit lane reporting for us, and hopefully with an umbrella or a hat or some form of shade, is Nina Jade Paul.
The wait is indeed finally over. My name is Nina Jade Paul, and we are live for the first qualifying session of the 2026 Ferrari Challenge North America season. And we are kicking things off in the most exclusive way possible right here at the Thermal Club. There's something special about a season opener. We've got new faces, returning champions, new rivalries, fresh liveries, and of course a fresh slate for all of our drivers. So this fast-flowing desert circuit is all about rhythm and precision. One of the biggest factors this weekend will of course be the heat, even at this time of year, lest we forget we are in the desert. So tyre management is going to be absolutely critical. I was having a word with Gary Ott yesterday, and he was saying you've got around 3 push laps in your locker before these tyres start to fall off. So these drivers have to get the tyres in the perfect working window for this qualifying session. We've got Trofeo Pirelli Am up first, followed by Trofeo Pirelli, and it's worth noting we've had a number of drivers step up from the shell class this season, so all eyes on how quickly they can adapt at this level. This session is not just about a starting position, it kickstarts momentum and sets the tone for the entire season. We've not long to wait until to see who makes a statement.
Thank you, Nina Jade Paul. She'll be with you all season reporting from the paddock as well. It's mine and Nina Jade's second season with Ferrari Challenge North America. Tony, your third, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, season number 3, yes.
But you've been with the brand for a very long time. You better give everyone at home your background, roughly.
Oh, it's almost 20 years in Ferrari. Started with the car more or less 360, then went up to 430, 458, 488, and then in the end 296, all in GT racing, meaning that we were racing against other brands. Famous races like Le Mans 24 Hours is the top race for us. Managed to win that a couple of times with Fisichella and Bruni. And then the last few years being sort of a brand ambassador following Club GT events around the world. And now season 3 here in FNA Challenge.
Yeah, great to have you alongside, mate. Really looking forward to giving us your insights as to what's going out on track. Everybody has been learning here. They've had some 10 sessions to get their head around the circuit. Not everybody came to those. That was like a pre-season test, if you will, and then 3 official practice sessions. This guy, Mitchell Green, has moved up from Coppershell into Trofeo Pirelli. He's in Trofeo Pirelli Am, but looking at the lap times here, he was right up with the top Trofeo Pirelli runners, so towards the top of the overall category. There are 4 categories for if you're new to the Ferrari Challenge North America. There's Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. Those guys race together but qualify separately. And then there's Copper Shell and Copper Shell Am. Same thing. They qualify separately. They will race together on the same track. So you move up through those categories: Shell Am to Shell, then Pirelli Am to Pirelli. And that's the progression through Ferrari Challenge. And there are several Ferrari Challenges around the world, not just here in the USA.
Yeah, we're starting the season also at Paul Ricard, so the European season starts over there. We have championships around the world, and then obviously the end of the season where we all meet together is the Finale Mondiali, where we have the final rounds of each championship and then the world final. So this is the basic idea of Ferrari Challenge, racing around the world, and then we meet for the last round all together. Mitchell Green, you mentioned, looks like he has a new livery on his car, and I love Mitchell's passion. He's with a single-seater. He took a Ferrari 488 on a frozen leg this winter.
I did it with you guys in Finland.
He didn't show up in Finland, so I need to convince him to join us next year for the Corso Pilota on ice. But he did it here in US, and I just love his passion. And like he mentioned earlier, he's gonna send it. It's almost his phrase that he uses. He's gonna send it in qualifying and in the race.
So here's a cool story for you. I was watching Lindsey Vonn at the Winter Olympics, and bless her with the horrible crash that she had, and I was so sorry because I really felt she could be on for a gold medal, and a wonderful story. I hugely admire her as an athlete. So I'm watching the coverage. Lindsey had the crash, and so they start looking around the crowd a bit, and in the crowd I'm like, that looks like Mitchell Green. Like literally, you know what it's like? It's a wide crowd shot. It panned across. I'm like, I'm sure that's Mitchell Green. So I text his driver coach, Jamie Morris. I'm like, it's Mitchell at the Winter Olympics. Mitchell then texts me back. He's like, yeah, I'm here at the Winter Olympics. And he used to be a ski racer. So Mitchell ski raced before, was at the Winter Olympics supporting Team USA, and appeared for literally 2 seconds in the crowd shot, and I spotted him. I couldn't believe it. So what a guy. Loves his sports.
Yeah, I love his passion and the dedication. He wants to improve. All the drivers, but he takes it sometimes to the next level as well. And wherever he shows up, he's there amongst the top drivers.
Well, he's got his sights set, hasn't he, on what you did, GT racing, but moving from Ferrari Challenge up to the next level, hopefully with the brand still. He wants to do Daytona. He's got all sorts of ambitions, but he's doing it the right way, learning his way through the various different levels, and I say into Pirelli. Now, the interesting thing here, one of the drivers called it private pavement, and I like that. The Thermal Club is a private drivers club, so you have to be a member to come here and use the facilities, and Mitchell Green is a member. Now, let's just run through a few of the others. Kyle Washington, the Falvers, Steve Check, Manny Franco, Michael Mathes, Jesus Mindura, John Lennon, Daniel Roberts, Glenn Moss, Jay Logan, and George Grinsevich. So we have a bunch of drivers here, Tony, who, where the Ferrari Challenge has never been here before, this will be a real advantage to them, I think.
For sure is an advantage, you know the track from before, but at the same time, I would still consider the amount of laps, the amount of testing all the drivers can do. So this advantage narrows a bit. But like we mentioned, in qualifying, you only have those couple of laps. So it's a combination of being determined enough and then also know where to put the wheels, how to ride the curbs. And the track itself is super technical, and you really need to place the race car in the right place, long radius corners, slower hairpins, and then a sequence of S's with a little bit of elevation. So just a beautiful place to drive these Ferrari Challenge cars.
Yeah, very much. We were watching the onboard, weren't we, prior to the show, an onboard that you guys will see later in the race show. And although the overall elevation here is not much, it's like 50 feet or something, there is a lot of small elevation change, particularly in that sequence of corners down from turn 10 through to 14 that you were talking about. That you are unsighted in a couple of corners, even the last corner coming onto the start-finish straight, which is in the background here. But it's more than you think, and it does have a big impact on the car.
It has a big impact on your car, but also on the lap time. You need to get every part of those corners exactly right. You need to ride the curbs in the right way. If you get offline, you just lose the whole sequence. That whole sector is gone. So you really need the right amount of concentration and also the patience, because obviously all the drivers want to do their best lap time of the whole weekend in qualifying, but it's not always. Sometimes you feel the overdriving also makes a big impact on these drivers. They're just trying a bit too much.
So we know they're probably only going to get 3 ultimate fast laps. No, it's less prevalent in the shell category because, to be fair to those drivers, they're learning a little bit more, so they make a few more mistakes, which means that they might get a better lap in later on when they get a perfect lap right. But with the drivers in Pirelli, I would expect them to make less mistakes, and therefore if they don't get it done in the first 3 laps, probably that optimum tyre condition is gone.
But maybe also you need this morning a bit more laps. The track obviously hasn't been used overnight. This morning is way cooler temperatures, and drivers are really finding a different grip level than it was, for example, yesterday afternoon, where drivers were able to match the fastest times anymore just because of the pure heat. So this morning I think you need to adapt a little bit. Some of the braking points are different. The car doesn't handle exactly the same due to just, it might be 30, 40 Fahrenheit difference, so it's just a big difference.
So you think they might be able to get more than 3 laps?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Mitchell Green leads the standings at the minute with a 1:59.6. That's impressive. I'm sure yesterday was in the 2-minute margin, but as you say, that might be later in the day when temperatures were very hot. At the minute he's 1.2 seconds ahead of Burrows. Beckman 1.8 back, 201.5. Down towards turn 1, so remember this will be the first corner in the race. It's very wide. Hopkins you're looking at in P6. So I think from a start point of view, Tony, it's quite nice here. You've got a hairpin to the left and then a double right hand there. And I love a track where turn 1 and turn 2 go in the opposite direction, because you can lose out in turn 1 and be on the outside and brave it out and try and stay there the whole way to the braking point in turn 2. It's a big long straight in between, but it gives us some good opportunities.
Yeah, turn 1 as a hairpin is always a little bit complicated.
Yes.
If drivers decide to go 2 or 3 or even 4 side by side, then often things go wrong. So hairpin turn 1 is definitely an issue. I saw it with the IndyCar earlier when I saw them race here, and it wasn't a solid turn 1 for them. One important thing is also we're driving anti-clockwise. So drivers do have preference on corners, right or left-hand corners, but also this anti-clockwise thing, you need to adapt a little bit. Different driving style. Drivers often don't recognize the fact that they are just adapting left-hand corners better than the right-hand corners, and they need to work on different speed of corners more than the others. So again, this track is very technical because it has it all.
That's mad, isn't it? For people at home who maybe, or who are watching, who don't drive in a race situation. The only thing I can liken it to, again, is another skiing analogy. If you've ever been skiing, you nearly always have one turn that you like and one turn that you don't like quite so much. So, and you normally, if you're stopping, you panic and you think, I must stop, you always make your good turn to stop, nearly always. And it's the same with driving, but you don't realise that sometimes.
Yeah, this is a very interesting discussion, because obviously another driver doesn't know how another driver feels in that same exact corner.
Yeah.
It doesn't know how the first laps and how he feels or how she feels through that corner and with the braking point. Then obviously we start with the process of trying to catch up with the others, trying to work with your driver coach and so on. But still, the basic feeling that you get in the beginning often gives you the idea and the way you do the corner. You close in early, you close in late. You do the double apex right, or you do it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And you're struggling because you're carrying just too much speed into the corner, because your instincts say that I can go this fast, but then you lose in the exit and the whole next straight. So this track is really about the patience, hitting your marks perfectly, but also all the hairpins. The importance is mid to exit. Early you go on power, then you have more speed on the next straight.
Onto the next straight. You were just looking at Jan Bernier. If you watched last year, you'll have recognised the colours immediately. We now see number 89 of Chang laying down some black lines out of the corner. Mitchell Green has dropped to P2. Yeah, Michael Mathes has gone quicker. And in fact, Mathes has gone quicker again. So Mathes was only on a 0.5 just a moment ago. So quite late in this session, Michael Mathes has managed to take another couple of tenths out.
And I think we saw earlier that Mitchell Green, at least he was very wide on the last corner.
He's in the pit,
yeah.
Mitchell Green.
So Mitchell Green, what he did last year, often he was P1, he went into the pit lane, and then he lost the lead. He lost the pole position. So again, I think Mitchell if he's not going out again, he's just saving those tires for the race one. And not saying that he's giving away the pole position, but like I mentioned, probably this morning 1 or 2 laps more costs you less with the tire wear than it was yesterday afternoon, for example, with a high temp.
You're looking at Gerdas Venceslas out on track at the moment. We have remaining in the session 3 minutes 40. Last year the sessions were only 12 minutes long. This year the decision taken by Ferrari USA to Ferrari North America to make it 15 minutes. And I think that will help with when we have a red flag, Tony, because we have had sessions where there's a red flag and in 12 minutes, by the time they've done an out lap and an in lap with the red flag, actually there's nothing left.
Yeah, I think you nailed the point, to give a fair chance to all of our drivers to have a clean lap. Also, we have a different type of racetracks, so sometimes you do suffer a little bit with the traffic, so maybe that longer qualifying session will also split the field a bit.
They'll come out later.
Some of the drivers going early, some of the drivers going a bit later, based on also on the confidence and how many laps each driver feel that they need for their optimum performance. But I think 15 minutes is a good solid time for qualifying and gives a chance for drivers to perform at their best. And like you said, sometimes we have yellow or red flags as well in qualifying, so 15 minutes gives more opportunities.
Just looking at the laps, Mathes did 4, Mitchell Green 3, Bernier 4, Beckman 3, Porter 3, DL has done 4. 5 laps look for Hopkins and Chang. Only 2 for Gutierrez, but stopped. So I don't know what happened for Gutierrez. That may have been early in the session. He was 10 seconds down as well on the interval between the lap times. So Gutierrez obviously was some sort of an issue. There's a look at the crest and the dip through that section. And then this braking zone, so you run the car out wide on the brakes. Very easy to lock a front left in there as you pitch it into the hairpin. Got to get the good exit speed through. It's fun, isn't it? We're learning the circuit, with you guys at home. First time Ferrari Challenge has been here. And Tony, this is probably the only track I think I've been to with you where you haven't raced.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All the other tracks on the calendar I know very, very well. Going back to the S's that we just had the view on, I think it was Venceslas through the S's. So you really need to ride those curves to help on the rotation as well. And you make those lines a bit smoother. So if you miss the curb, it's just you miss the momentum, and you most likely miss the whole sequence between 10 to 13. So.
Oh, that's nice to see, isn't it? Hug there. Michael Mathes. Just looking chilled, and 3/10 up at this point in the session. Nobody's going to get there, in my opinion. There's a minute 12 left, unless someone's out there on an absolute flyer, which I think is unlikely. Our usual suspects. Don't forget as well, Mitchell Green and Jan Bernier moved up from Coppershell to Pirelli-Am and are immediately at the front of this field. Very impressive indeed from them. We've got more stories like that coming for you throughout the morning here with qualifying and, of course, through the season, just to see how that progression works. And Tony, that's the whole point, really, isn't it? From Corso Pilota through to Ferrari Challenge North America, how this system of progression works for the drivers. Yeah,
Ferrari gives you the opportunity to first try out our beautiful street cars on racetracks.
Yeah.
Having a private coach which tells you the basics of driving fast on the track. Then if you feel the passion, you want to do more, you want to learn more, Ferrari also gives you the chance to learn the racing rules. What means the marshal flags, what means going to qualifying, what means to be in an actual race. And step by step you improve your skills, and the first real test is when you decide to go racing in Ferrari Challenge. We also have 4 categories in Challenge based on your speed, and Ferrari does the evaluation on your skill level. And if you go from win to another win, then obviously they promote you pretty quickly. We saw also last year a driver coming in.
We did, yeah. One immediately, didn't he, in Daytona, and was
exactly. And then another step is some of these drivers, having done 2 to 4 years of Ferrari Challenge, they decide to go racing in GT3, for example, where then you have another other goals. 24 of Daytona, Sebring, other races, Road Atlanta, special races that under IMSA you can do here in US, and also very legendary races also in Europe. Le Mans 24. You can start with the Le Mans Cup, means that you participate on the Le Mans weekend, and then if it's something that really catches you, then you can put the next target on Le Mans 24.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ladder opportunity. A man who is on the top step of the ladder in this session is Michael Mathers with the pole in Pirelli Am. He's down in pit lane now with Nina Jade Paul.
Michael, congratulations. First pole of the season. Talk us through how you're feeling.
Oh, I mean, what a great way to start. I mean, I don't think you could draw it up any better than that. I think we all come into this thinking that we're going to be on the pole first and win that first race. So I think I'm set up for a good afternoon, but we've got to bring it to the next level for the race itself.
Absolutely. The conditions are a little bit cooler this morning. Talk us through what you think it's going to be like for the race.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hot for the race. The track's going to get much hotter. We're going to see the tires start to get a little bit greasy. And I think tire management, right, making sure you're not scrubbing the fronts too hard, not getting too much into the throttle too early is going to be just really important to manage the tire throughout the course of the race.
Congratulations. Go well.
Thank you. Thanks.
Michael Mathers, the pole sitter for Pirelli Am, running through there how crucial it is to look after those Pirelli tyres ahead of the race this afternoon. They will start the race, don't forget, on the tyres they used in qualifying this morning. Crucial, he said, not to get on the throttle too early and just not to cook either end of the car effectively. You need to get in there with some decent tyres on your car. Mitchell Green, did he do the right thing by coming in on lap 3? Could he have gone one more lap and taken the pole? He's still going to be on the front row. Will that extra tyre life that he's got be enough to help him out come the race? So Michael Mathers, 159.3 with the pole. Mitchell Green, Jan Bernier, last year's championship front runners in Copper Shell. Esteban Beckman, P4, Michael Porter, Matthew Diel, Martin Burrows and Gregory Hopkins are your top 8. Gerhard Svenstavas is 9th. Frank Chang, who we saw sideways on the dirt towards the end of his lap, is in P10. Kevin Gutierrez, unfortunately with an issue, you can see they're 12 seconds off. And Jay Logan didn't set a time, but will start from P12. That is the beautiful backdrop of the mountains here in California. It's green in the valleys, it's very barren up in the hills, it is very, very hot. We're surrounded by these beautiful date palm plantations. Thank you to our wonderful producer Amanda for that information. Me and Nina Jade Paul, like, look at these amazing trees. It was obviously man-made, obviously man-planted by the fact that the spacing between all the palms on the plantations around the thermal club is so perfect. And we hadn't thought about what it was. We actually had dates last night. Went out for a very nice dinner. Dates with blue cheese, if you're wondering. Casa Ferrari here, offering up the delicacies as well. I know we'll have some guests watching in there. Thank you to all the team who are back again to look after us for another season. Some of the drivers will have eaten heartily, and there'll be others who were a little bit nervous and just not able to get a big breakfast down. They'll have to wait and go in after qualifying just to get that first bit of the day out of the way. If you've ever competed at anything, you'll know exactly what I mean. Some people get terribly nervous, and some people it doesn't bother them at all. You see the cars returning down the right side of pit road there, and they will go into the paddock at the far end. That is Roberto Perina in the number 55. His nephew Massimo Perina was the champion last year. Massimo is here this weekend. I've seen him, but he's not racing this year in the Ferrari Challenge, or certainly not here at the first round. Dylan Medler, the previous year's champion, has also moved on. He's going to race exactly what Tony was describing earlier. He's gone to Europe to race GT cars, GT Ferrari. So great to see Dylan staying in the family and heading off to do some more racing over there. And what that means, of course, is that Trofeo Pirelli, which is our top category, is wide open. Now, some of the drivers here today, this one included Brad Falvera, are members here at the Thermal Club. George Grintovich III is also a member, Gray Falvera, Manny Franco. So there's a number of drivers who are members here, and these are our quickest drivers, our drivers who've been at this the longest. So we can expect to see a good performance from them. There is George Grintovich III. He was on the top step of the podium in Club Challenge last year many times. Taking the decision to come and race here, and he's straight into the Pirelli class, so seems relaxed in the car. And that in the white and bright yellow is Johnny Kaminsky. Now Kaminsky last year I think was 16 and put in some amazing performances. I'll have a look through my stats and find out just where he was in the end. He had to miss one round, which was very frustrating for us as well as him, because he wasn't allowed to race in Watkins Glen because he's too young. So Watkins Glen, the owners of Watkins Glen are under a certain insurance policy, which meant that at 16 he wasn't allowed to race. This year he's old enough to race everywhere. He got the pole at Daytona, Johnny Kaminsky, the youngest ever pole in Ferrari Challenge, and he got a pole also at Mugello. Here he is. Hazard lights on. You think maybe a problem, Tony, or or just a slow warm-up lap?
No, right now I would say just a slow warm-up lap. He has... Yeah, he's really going slow. I don't know if I heard a weird noise from the car, almost like being on the pit limiter.
Freaky fast, it says on the side of the car, but freaky fast it says on the rear wing as well. Right now, not freaky fast, unfortunately. Yeah, you're right. Brian Kaminsky, his dad will be here with him, won't he? Another previous race from the series. So yeah, there seems to be some sort of an issue for Kaminsky. That's a real shame. So I was just saying, he took the pole twice last year. Once at the Finale Mondiale in Mugello. He had a couple of P4s in Mugello, so didn't convert it. And he had last year, he was on the podium 5 times. 4 times P3, and he got a second place as well. Jonathan Weisman, new driver, wasn't with us last year.
Again, beautiful liveries.
Yeah, we've said this before, haven't we? These guys take quite a lot of pride in the liveries.
Yeah, very, very beautiful cars. Few names on this Pirelli qualifying. Car number 12, Manny Franco, has a lot of experience in IMSA as well with the GT3 car. So Manny for sure is one of the favorites in a fight for the pole position. Johnny Kaminsky, we just saw that he might have an issue with his car, going very slow on the outlap. Let's see if Johnny can solve the issues, or was it just a very, very slow outlap from the pit lane. Roberto Berrina, very experienced, very fast, was able to match Massimo Perina's speed often last year, very close, only 1 to 3 tenths in several occasions from Massimo. And then a young new driver, David Bitton, who I coached a few years back in go-karts, and now he's racing here with us and straight into Pirelli class. So interesting to see David's performance, but also how he handles, let's say, the pressure of the first race weekend. So I met him yesterday at the Casa Ferrari, and as soon as he saw me, hey Tony, nice to see you, put in a good word for me. So let's hope David gets a good solid run through the first weekend.
Well, did he want a good word on the commentary, or was he looking for you to go to race control and argue for him?
Yeah, I think both. I think both.
Yeah.
Yes. But mix of new names and mix of experience and previous performance that we already know that these guys can really do a good job. Here is Roberto Berrina.
Yeah, so Roberto Berrina last year ended the series in P3. Had an incredible run at the second half of the series. He started with the 13th, 4, 4 and 5, and then look at this. He was on the podium at every single race from Miami through to Mugello.
And I asked him once, it was podium somewhere. I asked him, what happened? You found more speed, you found more confidence? He said he changed his race car. He said that from there on, the performance was there. So he had an issue early in the season, and he couldn't get the car in the right window, changed the race car, and everything started to work.
One of the things I love he's done here is he's painted the rear grille. So the rear grille there around the exhaust pipes with the Ferrari badge in the middle is normally black. On nearly every car it's black, and he's painted it. Kaminsky is still circulating slowly, so that is a problem. He hasn't made it round one lap. There's only 10 minutes left in the session. Tony, unless this is a really simple electrical problem, you know, something where they can reset a sensor or change something quickly, Kaminsky... Roberto Berrina takes the fastest time with a 2:06.2. We know there's about another 7 seconds of track time in there, but he's not going to find it on the dirt on the outside of the final corner.
Yeah, coming out of last turn, he takes the curb mid-corner really hard, and he throws the car a little bit more wide in the exit, and that was a bit of a close call. And he was forcing the issue because he knew that the next lap is going to be, or one of the next 2 laps is going to be probably the decisive one. So
he will have lost some time though, won't he, coming through that final corner? So unfortunately, of course, the previous lap, he's looking for that great exit. You could almost argue wind it in and cruise around this lap and then go again on the next one, but a bit of rallycross to start the season off there, Tony.
Yeah, putting in some dirt for the other drivers.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, it looked like he got a bit of understeer mid-corner, didn't he? Is it too much curb, maybe?
Maybe needs still some more grip from the tires.
Yeah.
We're just on to lap 2 for these Pirelli drivers, so...
There's a lot of dirt offline here. So if you look, there are chunks of Pirelli rubber we can see, and this was something you spoke to me about yesterday. We were at the Laguna Seca, end of last year, and you said to me it's hard to pass there because it's dirty offline. Now it's nowhere near as dusty here as it was at Laguna, but offline might be a bit tricky, you think?
Yeah, still a lot of pick-up, so the worn-out rubber that is laid on the track, and if you go offline when you're preparing for qualifying, or if you need to go offline while you're overtaking another car, that pickup can be really painful for the next half a lap to 1.5 laps. To clean the surface of the race tire. So definitely you really need to plan where to overtake and where to put those 4 Pirelli tires, not to collect all the pickup rubber.
You were looking at Manny Franco. This is now Roberto Perina, who must be coming round to set another lap time. This is going to be pole straight away. So he does go to the top, 159.5. Brian Cook was there, but he's now 7/10 off. There's definitely more lap time in there because we know he hit the dirt on the way onto the start-finish straight. But we also know that there's likely not a great window for these guys in terms of laps. Although you were saying, weren't you, think maybe they'll get another one in. Brian Cook goes top, 1/10 of a second quicker. Weissman goes into third, 2/10 back from Perina.
And also Manny Franco's first lap was really slow, just a really slow lap to build up those tire temps and tire pressures, 2:15. So he was more than 15 seconds off the pace. So the next couple of laps will really show his performance.
Yeah, you see a bunch of people coming around for their first effort. Franco, we're going to follow through the rest of the lap, so let's have a look through some of these technical sections here.
Yeah, sometimes I could see Manny is really driving aggressively his challenge car. For sure the experience from IMSA GT3 gives him the confidence to really handle and fight this car, but you really need to be smooth as well, and he's really avoiding those curbs, not really hitting the marks perfectly on the first part of the SS. So let's see this first real lap time from Manny Franco. Looks smooth on the exit of the hairpin.
Washington has gone top. He's a member here. Manny Franco is as well. So you'd think he would know. He used a lot of curb on the way in there, and then, what do you think? Deep or no?
It looks smooth, but using a little bit less curbs than many of the other drivers.
Manny Franco, has he got enough as he comes over the line? He has. Manny Franco goes pole by 2/10 of a second. And Tony, you think there might be a little bit more to find out in this sequence of back corners?
Yeah,
even?
He was really smooth. Now looks like he's trying a bit more on this next lap, and he did some wheel spin at the exit of the hairpin, but he looked really smooth over his lap.
Is it the members' secret not to use the curbs quite so much? You know, that's the thing, isn't it? How many laps have they got? If you're wondering what these stunning houses are in the background, those are the members' houses. So you pay a fee to be a member, a joining fee, then you pay a yearly fee to remain, and you also get the opportunity to buy a house here at the circuit. Kaminsky and Grinzovic are towards, well, Kaminsky hasn't even got a lap in. Bitton as well has pitted. He's your man, isn't he? And he's had to go in. So 2 of the drivers we were really looking forward to seeing at the top. And Kaminsky's back out. Let's listen in.
Maybe just a change of steering wheel or something.
So Kaminsky's car back up to full power, but he's only got 5 minutes. Now, bearing in mind, Tony, a lap time here is 2. He needs to get a very quick installation lap in, and then he's got 2 chances. I mean, okay, in theory, that's the window for the Pirellis, but this is what we were saying about seeing someone go out late in the session. Could Kaminsky get this done really late on?
I really cannot see that this was planned. It's a little bit too tight. Also, time-wise, if he's really slow, opening lap or was planned, but he still has enough time though to
yeah,
perform.
I think he'd get 2 flyers in, I think, can't he?
Yeah.
And that would be just about right in terms of that Pirelli rubber. So they use a lot of curb here on the left-hand side. That is on the run into turn 15, I think, then 16 through, and then 17 is the right kink onto the straight, which is here. And there it is. So over the start-finish line now, Kaminsky to start his first fast lap. 7.1 off there. We'd expect that, of course, to 2:05. That's very much a warm-up lap. He's got to nail this one on now. You're looking there. And number 12, Manny Franco. He's currently the pole sitter. He's gone quicker with a 58.4. I'm really keen to see Kaminsky in front of him. So Manny Franco, that man there in the number 12, just done the quickest lap, 58.4, 158.4.
Yeah, I think Manny has has given up. I
Yeah.
think he showed his performance, and this lap is about Johnny Kaminski's performance now.
So we looked at the lap times, Tony, from the practice sessions. Kaminski's definitely got the pace. He was amongst it, everyone. Have a look at this for us and tell us what you think. Long straight. There's the start of that braking zone. You can see the bumps in the braking zone too, with the different shading in the track. Looks good through here.
Yeah, looks good, looks smooth.
These are those long carousel corners we stood, didn't we, at race control? Oh, look at there, the car moving around on the transition.
Excellent racing line, very tight inside the blue markings on the racetrack, and really using the track in the right way.
Screaming the Pirelli tyres there as well. They were howling to me. Yeah,
I think those curbs.
He's on it. Kaminski's on a big push lap here. So Kaminski out now. Look for this tightening left-hander. He gets the nose of the car in nicely. Now he's got the run down the back straight into 15, 16, 17. There crucially uses all the track on the exit now. Got the very quick left-hander. This is coming in towards 15, which is the right. All the curb on that side. Into the right-hand side now, hold it in tight, run it out wide. Now he's got to come flat through here, out over the curbs on number 17. Kaminski had a problem at the start of the session. Has he got it done here? Almost out over the white line. Johnny Kaminski crosses the line, and he goes fastest. 1:58.2 on his first flying lap. The 17-year-old is back and making a big statement here.
Yeah, big difference on the racing line between Johnny Kaminski and Manny Franco over the S's, so between turns 10 to 13, and Johnny being more aggressive on the first two curbs and really fighting the car more there, where Manny Franco was more smooth, and I think Johnny has backed off.
I was just going to say the same. So he's done what? One out lap. Okay, we won't count the first lap. That's almost a scrub lap, isn't it? Where he had the technical issue.
One real flyer, I think.
Yeah, one out lap, one push lap, and he's done it. So he's got the pole with 2 minutes 12 left. He will know that his main competitors have probably used the best of their tyres. Job done.
Yeah, Johnny did, let's say, a lap with a problem, 2:07 and now 58.
Brilliant.
Yeah, good execution. And if there was an issue with the car in the beginning of the session, he kept it calm, and the team resolved the issue. We can find out over the lunch break.
Yeah, we will.
If there was an issue, or was it part of a strategy, because I think going that slow, you cannot really break the surface of the tire, the shiny part of the Pirelli tires. You still need to go certain speed, and I think the engine sound and the way the car was going, it had an idea. I have an idea that it was on pit limiter.
Okay, so maybe stuck on pit limiter around the whole track. This is Grinzovic, George Grinzovic third, but he's clearly on a slow down lap, so backed off, I would say. Yeah, comes in tight into the hairpin. He's let me have a look and see how many laps he's done, because he's on a 59.8, which is not terrible at all. It's great. Yeah, he's done 4 laps. He's a member here and was further up during the practice sessions, but that's not to say he won't show well come the race. Did you note the pole time from the previous session? Have we got that written down or no?
By memory, 59.6-ish, or was it better?
Let's have a look and see. I think I've got a feeling. I think you're about right. Yeah, so that would put the top drivers from Pirelli Am sort of in 6th or 7th. I have a feeling it might have been a 0.3. I think Mitchell Green might have been a 0.5. I can't remember, but yeah. So it's going to be tight across between the Pirelli and the Pirelli Am drivers. Pit lane is packed now, and Kaminski is heading back to the paddock at the Thermal Club with the pole in the fastest category here at Ferrari Challenge North America. Good job by him. The hazard lights are back on as he comes into the pits, and as Tony said, the hazard lights were on the whole time when he was out on his out lap. A couple of the pace cars coming out in the background. Didn't see any issues out on track. Point 159.3 was the Pirelli Am pole, so actually, yeah, that would have been enough for P5 here. So the top couple of drivers in Pirelli Am arguably could... Yes, there it is! Job done. The number 1 finger, that's for pole, but it's also 1 lap. 1 lap and done. There's Brian, his dad. Let's go. What's that? Is that an inflatable pickle? Everybody needs an inflatable pickle when they take pole, don't they? I mean, it's fantastic.
A little exciting, huh?
He did keep it interesting, didn't he? So Nina Jade pulls down there a sinner in the background. She'll grab Johnny just as soon as she can. He's taking his gloves off. Freaky Fast is back, got it done. Problem at the start of the session. I'm sure Nina Jade will find out for us what that problem was. But in the end, he just needed one warm-up lap and one flying lap to get it done. Let's take a look at the results from Trofeo Pirelli qualifying. Johnny Kaminsky with the pole, 158.2. Manny Franco and Kyle Washington, both members here, P2 and P3. Roberto Perina last year, a front runner in this championship, P3 overall, is very much in the mix. Gray Falver, Brian Cook, Brad Falver, Jonathan Weisman down in P8. Got a good entry here in Trofeo Pirelli as well. George Krinzovich III is in P9 and David Bitt on no time, unfortunately. Tony, I'm sure we can catch up with him, one of Tony's previous driver clients, if you like, and we'll find out what happened. Stunning backdrop for the Thermal Club. Brilliant job by Kaminsky. We're getting ready now for the Copper Shell qualifying sessions. Copper Shell Am first, then Copper Shell. About another half-hour qualifying circulation to do between the two categories. So we're lining Johnny up. He's just grabbing himself a drink and a bit of a debrief, and we'll get him just as soon as we can. You can see those cars from the previous session going down the right of pit lane. Over on the left-hand side is the Paddock. In the background is Casa Ferrari, far up in the background near the canopies on the right-hand side, behind the Ferrari flags on top of the roof there. You can go and watch from the roof, which is a great vantage point. Around the outside of the big carousel, all the beautiful houses here, and you can see a couple of them under construction. There are houses going up very quickly. It's a brilliant concept, really, the Thermal Club. Look at this. Lovely restaurant with a little putting green out the back. I mean, Tony, I could see myself with a place here. Should we get somewhere between us, maybe? Do you think we could get it between us?
This is just amazing. Like you mentioned, this is first time here for us, but just the track is beautiful, but everything else around it is just
really
planned, dialed in the right place, and I can understand why this has been a great success as well for the members.
Yeah.
And we can see new houses being built up.
Yeah, in the background on the left there.
Yeah.
In the foreground as well, this is the main members club restaurant. Yeah. So this is separate to Casa Ferrari, which is in the background, which is lovely. We went in there yesterday. We were doing the filming up at the top of the control tower, which you'll see later on in the race shows. Very nice restaurant with a stunning bar and nice outdoor space as well. Yeah, it's a fantastic venue. Nina Jade Paul has our pole sitter for Trofeo Pirelli, Johnny Kaminsky.
Johnny, congratulations. Pole position, and you just needed one lap. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely mentally frustrating when we get back on our out lap to, set up for your hot lap and your pit limiter stuck on. So came to the pits, and my beautiful Team 111 helped me out, and we got that sorted. And yeah, we just needed one, and it was good enough. So I've just been working incredibly hard this off season. Came up short many times last season and had great competition, and I'm just super blessed to be in this series and get this opportunity. So the hard work is paying off, and to get the first pole this season is super special. So yeah.
Absolutely. As I said, you only needed one lap to put in that flying pole position. Are you feeling confident for the race?
I mean, yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to go back, enjoy this moment, and definitely prep for the race and this heat coming. So do a little schoolwork, junior in high school, so I got to prep for the SAT and then get my mind ready for the race, and yeah.
Prepping for the SAT and racing in Ferrari Challenge. Good luck later.
Thank you so much.
I heard a hint of emotion in his voice there, Tony, because he's put the work in over the winter, and that's the reward for putting the work in. And as he said there to Nina Jade, he's studying as well for his school studies whilst being here, being a racing driver. And I'm really pleased for him and the family to have put that work in and got it done in one lap. And by the way, Tony, he was bang on. Tony Verlander with the pit limiter was stuck on. Bang on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you need to set the rules, set the... if you don't study, if you don't do your job, then you don't go racing, and then I think it's the right combination to have both ways and have it done properly. And yeah, then the off season, if your mind is so strong that it takes you to the gym, takes you to your running shoes, and makes you go out under the rain or beautiful sunshine, and because you got frustrated, like he mentioned. Year before, he was so close so many times, and he wanted to make the difference, being even more prepared. And many athletes, they get more confidence out of, for example, physical shape.
Yeah.
If you are in a good shape, if you are in a good form, the previous 2 days of testing, if you didn't feel tired, if you could perform on the top level continuously, this gives you confidence, and then your mind is more free to take also the information from your team or from your engineer. If you are all the time exhausted, you're tired, you get annoyed, and you don't just build the momentum. So I think Johnny learned a lot from last year, and this is the first example of his strength physically and also mentally, because he had a struggle also with the car that wasn't working on the opening lap, and he didn't get frustrated, and he just needed one lap. So he shows that he can take it to the right performance straight away.
Good stuff, isn't it? Great to see from a youngster. Kaminski, definitely one of my favourites for the title this year. Got to keep it up all season, but he's obviously been preparing hard to get that done. And to come here and take that pole, as you say, it feels special. On to Cobbochelle then. So, Cobbochelle and Cobbochelle Am, they are the two categories which are a rung below the Pirelli category. That is Nicholas Holt. Now, you might well recognise Nicholas Holt because he's a famous actor. He was in the movie About a Boy with Hugh Grant, and he has also been in the X-Men series. Superman. He's been in a ton of different stuff. Great actor, but also lovely bloke, loves his cars. Been on a 5-year journey, I think he said in one of our interviews with him. Since he first started with Corsa Pilota and now makes his race debut here. And for a Hollywood actor, you think, oh yeah, he'll be fine, he'll be all cool. He's really nervous, but I respect that and I like it.
Yeah, I met Nicholas last year, and I was really impressed how humble, how down-to-earth human being, and then also how much information he wanted to know about racing, how much information. I think we met in Watkins Glen. He wanted to know the details going into the bus stop. Do you ride the first curb or the second or the third? How is your racing line? And he takes it very seriously. But what is also very common often of these special characters is if you are very good at your work that is completely different, and you take the same mindset to racing cars, it very often works. We've seen some actors race before, and not all of them have super skills. But I've seen Nicholas do Club Challenge, and he's been on top of the timing and scoring. So we can expect good things from him. But obviously he wants to take it easy as well, not to go and be overexcited. And what is a big difference now is we have more cars on track in this qualifying, so you need also space. You need a clear lap. Sometimes you are a bit unexperienced and you get stuck behind another driver for the whole session. So you need a little bit of experience as well. And there comes in play your coach, your team, your engineer, which says now we need to back off. You need to build enough gap to the drivers in front of you to be able to do that one lap.
Yeah, make some space. You can see at the moment, can't you, he's in between two cars out on track. I think it was Lance Corley that was behind him. Nicholas is running the number 100. If you'd like to follow him, that's pretty easy to see where he is. You're looking at Jeffrey Keel there in the 117, followed by Garrett in the 140. All looking for space. How's the best way to find space, though, Tony? This is by far our biggest entry. Look, we've got 20-odd cars out on track. Let me scroll the timing screen, not get us an exact number. There are, bang on 20 cars out on track. It's double the number that were out in Trofeo Pirelli. Trofeo Pirelli, all the drivers are very quick, very experienced. Here, you've got a mix of experiences. Do you back off, but then you can end up in a slower group? Do you try and pass, but then you're off the racing line? It's really hard, I think.
Yeah, it's not easy. It depends when you decide to leave the pits, when you decide to do your, let's say, warm-up lap and so on. Also, in your category, you learn over the years your opponents. You know which driver is on a similar pace than you. You know the leader of your category. If you are placed behind a driver that you're assuming that is faster than you, then normally you stay there and trying to improve following the other driver. But there's no one simple rule. If I would be in this qualifying right now and I would be confident that I have the performance, I would not go in on the first minute. I would not go in on a green light. I would try to avoid cars being slow.
Yeah.
I would want to go in when others are on their push laps and try to find the balance and the rhythm over there. But it's not an easy task. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. More cars on track can build into yellow flags or even
Red.
that they need red flag
Yeah.
that they need to stop the session. And it really depends where you at with your lap times and how many laps you were able to do. But there's no one simple rule, let's do always this and it works.
You got to read the track a bit and have your team help you out as well. You're looking at Jesus Mendoza there, another member at the Thermal Club, as Rosser goes quickest, Ferrari San Diego driver. He's on a 2:01.9 and he's gone some 2 seconds quicker than Jeffrey Nunberg. So Jeffrey Nunberg last year was P6 in Copper Shell Am. And this year, I'm sure we'll be looking to move up into a podium position. Nunberg last year took a couple of wins.
Yeah, I feel for Jeffrey. We met him this morning in Casa Ferrari. Sometimes qualifying seems to be the trickiest one for him over the weekend. He's a very good racer and he is a very good overtaker. Sometimes we could see him that in the second part of the race he can gain a lot of places, but I would love to see him qualify more at the front, more towards the front.
Yeah, give yourself a little bit less work to do in the race. Yeah,
exactly. But also another gentleman with a lot of passion.
Yes.
For Ferrari Challenge.
Yeah, he was lovely, wasn't he, this morning?
And he's very happy. He's always very happy and honest. Sometimes he says, I need to work on that sector. You know, I'm plus 5 tenths and I need to work on there. But I'm happy. It's beautiful weather and I'm loving it.
It was really nice this morning, wasn't it? He obviously knows you and he introduced himself to me and I said, hey, Jeffrey, I said, I'm the announcer.
Yeah.
And of course he hasn't seen me.
Yeah, you said, Andrew. Andrew who?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, the announcer, he goes, oh yeah. He said, I recognised the voice straight away. And he goes, I loved it last year. When I saved the car and the guy was spinning, he said, I've saved that piece of announcing. And I was like, thank you very much. But he was all smiles and yeah, really, really stoked to be here, wasn't he? Having a good time. Nicholas Holt goes P2, 0.9 of a second off Rosser. That's a great job by the Hollywood actor. I was trying to think, what do we call him? We call him a Hollywood actor. This guy's an acting legend, and he's immediately to the top of Copper Shell Am. This is a brilliant performance by him. Fantastic to see. Yeah,
he was also in a quite good place. There was a light blue colored car in front of him. But apart from that, it looked like also this lap could be a clear lap for him.
Maybe managed to find a bit of space. Sorry, what I was going to say about Jeffrey is I said to Jeffrey, actually, it's nice for me to put a face to you, to your name, because of course I said to him, I recognise your car, but and so often the drivers are in the driver club, you know, they're in Casa Ferrari, and I'm like, you don't know who they are because we recognise the cars so much. Tony obviously has spent a bit more time with them from a coaching point of view. But yeah, it was very nice. So we both managed to put a face to a name.
Yeah, Nicholas has a good. He's having a good lap now. He's following another car. So if he keeps his mindset in the right place and the concentration, I think there might be an improvement. Let's see.
Nice through the final corner, runs the car out wide and back into the apex. Very smooth through here. Just the right king to go now. He's high in the revs as he taps over the curb on the inside line. Holt over the line. Where's he going to go? Stays where he is for now. So Nicholas Holt, 202.8. We can check his last versus his best. And his last lap was a 203.5, so about 7 tenths off where he was. In terms of laps, Holt has done 3. So he could still have a push lap or 2 in there, I think, at this point, Tony.
Yeah, based also on the lap times, these drivers are using a little bit less tire. The lap times are a little bit slower compared to Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers, so they have more margin and more laps for the qualifying set.
I've just realised as well, that's the first time I've seen the Union Jack on the graphics over here in the USA. So obviously the vast majority of our drivers are American. We've got Mexican, Argentinian as well. We do have drivers from many different nationalities, but as you would expect with these regional series, there's a Ferrari Challenge Middle East now, which is kicking off. We've got the European series, the Asian series, and people tend to stay within their own region until they come to the Finale Mondiale. That's the way that it works. But obviously, Nicholas Holt, I imagine, spends quite a lot of time over in California here, seeing as this is the heart of the filmmaking industry worldwide. But nice to see him up there. Welcome to the series. I'd like to see him do some more. I don't know how many rounds he's planning on doing, but it's great to have him here with us this weekend. So 4 minutes 30 remaining at the moment. It is Rosser, Moss and Holt. I know Moss has just gone quickest. Doesn't say that. Moss has just gone to the pole. So in the 191, He's done a time of 2:01.660. Glenn Moss, American driver representing Ferrari of Newport Beach. So Glenn, another new driver to certainly since last year. John Lennon goes up to P3. You're looking at him now. Runs the curb on the inside as well. So that's put Nicholas Holt down into P4 at the minute. Rosser is in the pits. And here is Holt. So Holt is caught up here. Is this going to cause him problems, or is he going to get up the inside?
Yeah, he's lost 2 laps now because he had the previous lap, he was behind this same car, and now he caught the light blue car number.
Can't see. 144 maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Roberts. So let's see if Nicholas has more performance left on his tires, and if he can go for one more lap, because he had the right progression, but the last 2 laps he wasn't able to improve.
Three minutes remaining then. So Rosser is in the pits, Corley is in the pits, and we're looking at Nicholas Holt here, bottom left of your picture, the Hollywood actor who is aiming to try and go a little bit quicker. Currently sitting in P5, was in P2 earlier on in the session. He is on his, let's have a look on timing, he's on his 5th lap incoming, I think. This is only showing 2 laps, so no, yeah, the timing is missing some laps for Nicholas Holt. I'm hoping it's not a transponder issue, which would then mean they're having to record his lap times manually, but he's only shown us 2, and Tony, we know it's more than that, don't we? Must be on 5 or 6 by now. So Holt could be towards the end of the Pirellis. He's good with the traffic here. They're out of the way for him. Can he move up from P5? The British driver, say famous for his big screen performances, and taking part in his first race weekend here with Ferrari Challenge North America through the right-hander, and he's got one more turn to go, just the kink after this. Flat out now onto the straight, use the curb on the inside and on the outside. Nicholas Holt comes through with no traffic in front this time. He was P5, and I think he's going to remain P5, he is. But still, nice to put the laps in. He doesn't want to cook the tyres too much. I think the team will be on the radio at some point and say, that's enough now. On the other hand, oh, spin! So that's the 143's gone round. It's Ed Vartughian. So Vartughian with a little spin, stays off the dirt. Let's take a look at this one, Tony. Maybe you can figure out what he's done. On the brakes in, look. Does he hit the curb too hard? Or was he on the throttle too early? Oh,
really.
Look at that, okay.
Just carrying probably a little bit too much speed, and the rear just goes over. I didn't see him touching the curb in the entry, and also braking turn-in was solid, but then just a little bit, probably a little bit too much steering input and combination of speed, entry speed.
So that is Glenn Moss there, who's looking quite emotional, taking off his glasses inside the car. Yeah, he really is, look, shaking his head. Congratulations to Glenn Moss with 30 seconds to go. Looks like he's going to be the pole sitter here in Copper Shell Am. Threw us with the number 24 on the side of his helmet, so I'm guessing that's from another series that he has raced in. Maybe it's a significant number to him. Melissa Kozera is currently in P3. Kozera's on a flyer here. So Melissa Kozera at the end of last year was very impressive indeed. She won the final 2 rounds, if I remember correctly. She did. She won both races in Mugello at the Finale Mondiali. So could Kozera here nick that pole at the very end of the session? The checkered flag is out. Kozera into the last corner. She was in 3rd. She's 8/10 off. So she's got to find quite a lot of time here through the final corner. Needs to get on the gas. Is she backed off? Yeah, she's backed off. So Kozera's backed off and comes into the pits on the inside. Thought she might go for that. Still a brilliant performance. Nicholas Holt takes the checkered flag, moves up to P4. So Holt staying out for that final lap has worked really well. Nicholas Holt moves up to P4. Kozera wasn't on a flyer, but he's in P3. It's Rosser in P2, but it is Glenn Moss who takes the pole here as Steve Czech crosses the line for P11. Great stuff. Good session.
Yeah, only one car spinning, and I think we mentioned for Nicolas' experience in
Yes.
qualifying, he should have had this lap 2 laps ago.
Yeah, sure.
So
Find the space.
Find the space, know when to abort the lap and move into the next one. And good solid run, and I'm sure he's happy, but also hungry for more.
Yeah, he will be. I think he'd be really happy, actually, Tony, to have done that so late in the session. The question mark, of course, is whether that costs him in the race if he's used the tyres a bit harder. But really good to see a 202.5 is impressive, I think, on your first qualifying session. So not his first rodeo by any means. Yeah, so he's been driving race cars for 5 years, but this is his debut in Ferrari Challenge North America as a race. So nicely done. One session still to come, Copper Shell, to round out qualifying this morning. Nina Jade Paul is with Glenn Moss, our pole sitter for Shell Am.
Absolutely. Glenn Moss just told me it is his first race weekend with Ferrari Challenge, and you've gone and taken pole position. Talk us through your emotions.
Oh, well, this is actually my first race back. I broke my neck 8 months ago. So this was my whole goal to try to get back to driving. Last year was my first time ever driving out here at Thermal, and was able to get in this Ferrari and then be able to make this race. And now obviously pole is a dream come true.
It was an incredibly impressive lap, Glenn. Do you think being a member here and knowing this track at the back of your hand gives you an advantage for the race?
No, I think it's the coach. He talked me through everything. So, and just hard work.
Well, congratulations. Go well for the race.
Thank you so much.
What a legend, coming back after a broken neck to take pole on his first weekend in the Ferrari. Very graciously said that it was his coach talking him through it all. I'm assuming that is his coach there. And yeah, great stuff. How fantastic. Pole position and work to do later on today, of course, to try and hold on to that position in the race scenario. So we just have Copper Shell to come. Get those guys out on track any moment. Sitting, waiting in the car, often the certainly the warmest part, but can also be the most nervous part. Look at those brakes, they're huge on the 296 Challenge car. Tony, what can we tell people at home about the 296 Challenge car, just to give them an idea? They are very quick for a one-make series car, aren't they? Very quick.
Yeah, so Ferrari has really improved the aerodynamics on this car. Obviously, the performance, the horsepower is very high. It's over 700 horsepower. Real race car with suspension. Ferrari improved braking, but also the materials. So for the teams, they can run more consecutive weekends with same rotors and pads. So same brake discs and same pads. Pirelli tires, slick tires. And this Ferrari Challenge model, so the 296, is the closest ever to our current GT3 car. So the plan is for our gentlemen, for our lady, but also for our young drivers to have a solid platform that if you perform well in the 296 Challenge car, you have a high probability to perform well in the GT3 car. So this has been really the target of the Ferrari Challenge concept. The first cars many years ago didn't have a rear wing, didn't have a sophisticated aerodynamics, but then over the years, let's say from 458 to 488, 488 was more time in the wind tunnel, and it was more towards a real race car, and all the boxes were checked to have performance on track. And with this car is another step. It's another step for faster lap times, better handling, better tires, better brakes, better aerodynamics. So typical race car concept where evolution is continuity, and all the time things just improve. And I remember 3 years ago, 2 championships ago, when this car was presented, all the drivers were just smiling.
Yeah,
they were just so happy. Proper car. Obviously, many drivers are lap time oriented. So when they were seeing lap times being 1 to 3 seconds faster compared to our previous model, everybody was just super happy. Then obviously on my way here from Europe, a long flight, 12-hour flight, so I was able to have a few thoughts. So now we are in a situation where teams know the car really well. We are into season 3, so the difference between each team setup wise is just getting more narrow and narrow, a little bit similar to Formula 1 until last year, where teams are really close to each other. In F1, 20 cars were inside 8/10ths. Here is a bit similar things. There is not a single team that is dominating any category, because everybody is just improving on these cars into a point where there is just basically no difference between the teams.
One thing we see a difference here between Cobbachel-Am and Cobbachel was the decisiveness of the drivers on this outlap about what they want to do. So Lewis Flory in the white and blue car, we could see, was being passed by, I think it was Kevin Orsini was one of the two cars. These two cars in the background here, they quite clearly, the black and the red car, want track space. They're like, we're coming through, and even on their outlap they're aggressively passing cars to get themselves with an Rory. Lewis perfectly happy to run, say, P4, P5 on track and just give himself some space. These two guys flat out, is it the 106? Yeah, it's Gary Ott. So Gary Ott, who was absolutely flying in quali last year, and I think I say it's Orsini in front of him in the 116. Yes, it is. These two are going at it, and I think they're both looking for that bit of track space, but actually Gary might do better here to give. Is he going to try and pass him? So Gary Ott thinks he's got more pace and he's going to go for it. Fair play. Really aggressive. He's not going to be out there having a race in qualifying, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, practice is one thing, and then qualifying. Everybody is on a similar fuel level. Everybody obviously has new tires. And then there's part of tactics, part of strategy, where with your engineer on the pre-grid, you decide, follow that car, follow that driver. He's been the fastest in every session.
Oh, it's a late dive up the inside from Gary Ott. He really was determined here to pass Orsini. Orsini last year was 11th overall in the standings. Gary Ott was P4, sorry to interrupt, Tony, and he took pole twice, but he wasn't able to convert it. But he obviously wants track space here to go for a flat-out lap.
Yeah, there were no cool down laps, so there was no building step by step the temperature on the car or the tires. He was straight on. It was full attack since he joined the track. Obviously, this lap he lost turn 1 with the overtaking. Next one, let's see if he can overtake the other driver before he goes over the racing line. So aggressive approach, appreciated, but you need to have also a clear idea how and where to set the lap time, because if you have 2 sectors purple and the last one you lose time, it's not ideal for qualifying. So let's see if Gary Ott can clear the traffic and have a good run.
You're looking at Andrew Parker. Yeah, agreed, Tony. I really, here he is. Yeah, he's there. It's Waltersdorf, I think, in front of him in the 111. Is it? Yeah, so he's Waltersdorf's run a little bit wide in the carousel on the mid part of it, but he's going well. Like you just say, maximum attack straight away. I like to see it. I like Gary. He was all smiles yesterday as well. He was the first driver I saw from last year. He's like, hey, how's it going? He's raring to go, but he does have to clear Waltersdorf, otherwise this is going to be another lap lost.
Exactly. Now the mindset is, do I back off? No, he's getting...
Nice go. Yeah, so Waltersdorf indicates and lets him go. So Gary Ott now, this should be a good lap from Gary Ott. So let's see if he can put a push lap in here. I think he's passed everyone. I think he's now running first car on track. In terms of his lap position. So coming round now, and let's see what he can do. He's into the final corner.
And he was very fast over the SS on the last 2 laps. He really caught both drivers on the SS. So let's see if he can do a similar speed on his own. Because one thing is following another driver. He's very wide in the exit of turn 1. I don't know if he overshoot the corner a bit.
Yeah, so gets to the front and then gets the space he was craving, and now maybe he's made a mistake in the first corner. Having said that, he's still sitting in the pole at the minute on a 2:02.3, but Waltersdorf was second. He's dropped to 4th now, and he indicated left and lifted on the straight. So we know there's a lot more lap time in these guys. Oh, look at the rotation on the car as he uses the curbs. The rear's moving.
Yeah, he has a lot of confidence with his race car, but we saw the same thing last year. He could really fight his race car and show that he really trusts the grip, or really wide going to the back straight and riding that curb.
Go on, Gary.
Yeah, one thing is with the cold tires, if you try too much, you can almost burn the surface of the tires and get into the overheating before the temperatures are up in the right right window or the pressure. So if you try too much too early, then you cook the tires. So let's see if Gary had some more performance. This is his first real clear lap.
He's left foot braking in the middle of corners with the rotation, so he really, as you say, Tony, he's definitely feeling very comfortable in this car. Is that going to pay off with a good lap time over the crest at the back of the circuit and now through? This is the section which demands commitment.
He lost the curb a bit. He wasn't so tight there anymore, but he's still very confident on the corners between 10 to even 14 here. A little bit of understeer mid to exit, runs wide, but still good run through the hairpin.
Chuck Whittle with the 201.6, he's 0.7 up on Gary Ott's previous lap time, but every previous lap he's been in traffic. This one has been a little bit scrappy, but Ott is feeling confident in the car, runs the curb again on the inside. How committed is he through the final corner? Gary Ott trying to take the pole away from Chuck Whittle. Ott crosses the line, he was in P3, goes to P1, some 0.6 of a second quicker. It's a 201.0 for Gary Ott. Kevin Orsini moves up to P3, Chuck Whittle drops down to P2. So now it's, I guess, a question of whether Gary can continue, but with a tidier lap again. And then, of course, the question, Tony, is what does he do come the race? Because he was so frustrated last year at killing it in qualifying, and then he got eaten up in turn one. They came either side of him. He was so cross when we saw him later in the day, with a big smile on his face. He knew, because I've got to figure out turn one, that you can only learn turn one when you're taking the pole.
Yeah, exactly. But this is our fourth qualifying now, and we've seen different driving style, and Gary for sure is not the smoothest one. He's really the wild one of the fourth qualifying, and showing how it's done. He has the performance, but leaving a little bit of time in a let's say a little bit of errors, but just trying too hard, like losing the apex, running wide, but still a solid performance. And then race itself is completely different story. Mindset now is in qualifying. As soon as you do the interview with Nina Jade, then after that you start concentrating on the race start. And race start for driver is a completely different thing, because it's not in your hands anymore. You can do a good solid stuff and start for the race, and then somebody else has an issue in turn one and then it collects you, for example. So race itself is different.
It is indeed. Chuck Whittle moves up to P2. Shout out to Chuck for another brilliant livery. He had the chrome on the car last year. I think there's a bit, yeah, there's still some chrome in there over the arches and down the side flank as well, but that is a stunning looking livery. So Chuck Whittle moves up to P2, and he's just a 10th off, so he's taken half a second off this man Gary Ott. Gary Ott coming round. Is this a cleaner, smoother lap? Now he's got it done. Maybe the team have been on the radio and said, you've got pole, now tidy it up as he comes through. Can he go quicker again? Gary Ott was on a 201.0, crosses the line. No, not quicker. Lap time that time round was a 201.2, so he wasn't far off, Tony. He's only a 10th off. Now the question mark now, of course, is do you carry on? You know, Chuck Whittle is only a 10th off him. Michael Owens is only 0.3, 0.4 back to Chen.
Yeah,
here is Owens now.
Yeah, Owens had very good performance last year and very much improving over the season. And he could do qualifyings last year where just on the closing stages of qualifying he could take the pole position, and together with his coach, I think it's Paolo Ruberti, so they were really able to have good run, and Michael was even able to surprise Paolo.
Yeah, Michael was the champion in Copper Shell Am and has moved up, and if he's gone straight to P3. So I mean, that is really impressive, isn't it? Moving up from Copper Shell Am to Copper Shell. And he's, yeah, what is he, 201.2? So
yeah, he's very tight.
He's within 300ths of actually getting P2, and he's within 1.5 tenths of taking the pole. So Owens doing brilliantly on his debut in Copper Shell, moving up a category. You're looking at Mike Chen in the 188 coming through that back section with 5 minutes remaining in this session. I'll tell you what, it's mad to me what a difference the 3 minutes has made to the length of the session. It feels a lot longer for us, and so the window must feel a lot longer for the drivers too.
Yeah, it's true, but it opens you more chance on the strategy, how to plan the qualifying. Jen looked really good on the high speed corners and very smooth. Let's see, he's closing his lap because he's close there to the leaders. So let's see.
Is it going to be enough? Chen does go to pole. Tony Villander spots it on the quick stuff. He goes 1700ths of a second quicker than Gary Ott. Mike Chen with a super smooth lap. Brad Evans there. Was that the 188? No, it's Mike Chen. Celebratory drift out of the hairpin, whether he wanted to do it or not.
But he nailed it in the S's.
Yeah.
He had a very good racing line, and he was running almost with the inside tire, the full curb, and having a very tight line and not losing the apex at all. So very good lap from Chen.
Yeah, you spotted that immediately, didn't you, when we joined him? And on the rear shot through that section, Ott may still be circulating, but it's going to have to be a perfect lap if he wants to take it off him. 0.017. We know that Ott had there was some lap time left out there, but this is brilliant. So Chen in the 188, I'm just looking to see, he was P13 last year, and his best quali on my results was...
But did he do the whole championship?
No,
or
he didn't.
He joined
missed,
that.
yeah,
he missed some.
He did Sonoma, missed Daytona, Miami, Indy. Yeah, so he missed a bunch of events. That's Brad Evans. Brad last year was P3 in the standings overall, but at the minute he's sitting P8 in qualifying. He's coming through the last couple of corners again, I think. Yes, he is. There's the... No, I'm wrong. He's up at the carousels. Just looking at which one of the houses I want, Tony. I'll try and decide by the end of the weekend.
I know you choose the one with the biggest TV. So.
I want one with a pool, actually.
All right.
I need a pool, but a big TV as well, and maybe a
pool
bar.
and a fridge.
Yes. Finnish people.
Yeah.
And a sauna.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd need a
there
sauna.
You go.
And we need a dog.
There
Me
you
and
go.
Tony, big fan. We exchange dog pictures.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what motorsport commentators do in the off-season,
yes.
we exchange dog pictures.
Yes. That's true story.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And one of us rides snowmobiles.
Yeah. Poor level. So.
Beginner level.
Another story.
Yeah, maybe a book in future. Over the line then comes Evans, moves up to P7. Yeah, no snowmobiling for me in the UK, not enough snow. I could get a jet ski, but the English Channel's not that inviting in the winter, so I think maybe not. Javier Rodriguez Borgio sitting in P10. Here's a cool story for jet skis. Francois Delacour, famous rally driver, holds the record for jet skiing from France to Corsica.
Didn't know that.
There you go.
He was good with the front wheel drive.
Oh, the Peugeot, yeah, the 306 Maxi,
Yes.
yeah, the F2 era. Yeah.
Specialist for tarmac.
And always looked like he wanted to escape the harnesses, didn't he, in the car? Was pulling, used to sit very close to the wheel.
Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. What a wonderful sport.
This track is very technical, so you could see the difference between the two leaders, Chen and Ott, is 0.017, but still completely different racing lines, completely different driving style.
Yeah.
Gary Ott being a little bit wild, losing the apex in some of the corners. Chen looked way more smooth, more precise with the racing line and repeating the same lines each lap. And still you have this minimum gap between the two drivers.
It's another thing I love about this sport is you can watch. It doesn't matter if it's a qualifying session, a special stage in a rally, a hot lap somewhere, and the styles will be completely different. If you were to map them and look at the braking points, and of course there are some basics which you adhere to, but if you were to GPS them perfectly and look at where the throttle and the brake went on, and they've done it in different places.
And then red flag we have.
I was just about... Go on, Tony, what were you going to say? And then
the other thing is, if you have two drivers and having the gap they have is 1/100th of a second, is if you go to the setup sheet.
Yes.
And you look for the setup, other driver, for example, full stiff, full camber, everything on the limit, the other driver not.
Yeah.
Medium stiffness, even soft in the rear, whatever, and still in the end of the lap there is
different corners.
There is 1/100th of a second difference.
What they've got to figure out now, of course, is what I was going to get onto. So first of all, I was going to say, actually, I think the 15-minute sessions have given us less incidents. And I think that's because the drivers maybe are feeling I have longer to get a good lap
point.
in. I don't need to throw it at the scenery immediately.
Good point.
This is our first red flag in the whole session. It's 30 seconds from the end. So I think the 15-minute sessions are a big success. So good stuff, Manuel Marchi, Matt Dusenbury, good decisions from the guys running the series to give the drivers a little bit more time. My second thing, Tony, was what you were talking about with setup. So yes, you've got your hot lap done in qualifying now, but later we need to do 30 minutes. The temperature is going to be 10 Celsius higher. Sorry for my American viewers. And hot. Really hot. You're going to have to manage those Pirelli tyres. So your settings and your driving style are going to need to change to manage that in a race situation.
Exactly. And 30 minutes on the paper doesn't look... It's a big number, but racing with these cars and racing with the temperatures we're going to hit this afternoon, it will be a big thing on the physical side, but also for the tires and for the setup. And the 1/10 or 100ths of a second on the 28th to a 30th minute, it can be half a second per lap.
Yes.
If the setup is not there, or if you don't respect the tires and the performance of the car, if you want to do more than the car is willing to give, then you will be penalized performance-wise in the end of the race.
It's a lovely lap from Mike Chen. I don't think he took a pole last year, having a quick glance at my results. There he is, yeah, very happy. Nina Jade will find out, I'm sure, but it was a lovely, smooth lap, really dialed in.
My former team boss, Giacomo Mattioli, also there. Roberto Amorosi beforehand.
Cool.
Roberto was always giving me hard time.
Really?
Really hard time.
What for doing what?
Not having enough pace. P1 with the small distance wasn't enough. You need to have
You
bigger
got
gap.
a bigger gap.
Yeah,
So he
bigger.
pushed you as a team
Yes,
boss. He really
always.
pushed you.
Always.
Good.
Good times.
So I'm pretty sure that session won't be restarted. Well, there's no point. With 30 seconds to go, nobody could complete a lap, so the session will be over, and that's qualifying done for our first weekend, first race day. Of course, we're going to do it all again tomorrow for Ferrari Challenge North America here from the Thermal Club. Our final pole sitter, Mike Chen, is with Nina Jade Paul.
Thank you, Andrew. Yes, our final pole sitter and your first ever pole position. Talk us through how you're feeling.
Feeling very good. This is my first pole. This is, makes it very special, especially here, which is very close to my home in LA. Yeah, thanks.
How important do you think starting on pole position will be for the race?
Here it's very important. The track is not it's quite narrow. I think passing could be hard, and especially with the track being so hot, the tire can overheat if you are trying to pass someone, which makes the race later on be very difficult. So being on the pole is very important. So very happy to be on the pole.
Well, congratulations, Mike. Please take your pole position award.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, great stuff. All smiles and a job well done. So the red flag, unfortunately, was caused by Michael Owens. Here he is. He is okay and out of the car. We have a replay. It's a big crash, Tony. Here's the replay. So Tony Villander's going to look at this with us. He was the Shell-Am champion last year. Remember, he was high up on the leaderboard, so he was going really well. It's the quick section of the back, Tony.
Yeah, this is the SS.
Oi! Oh, that's a huge shunt.
Yeah, he lost it on the SS, so...
Wow.
Car had a rot. Yeah.
Can we get that slower one more time? Can we go any slower on the replay in the truck? We'll see if we're going to go one more time on this.
He was fighting for pole position, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he was trying to improve.
Champion last year, immediately to the top of Copper Shell. Hats off to him. The big question mark, Tony, is whether or not they have got a spare car or they can get that car out in time for the race.
So he's riding the curbs over the S's, took the curb here, and just out leaving the curb, the car was leaning towards the left, and he just lost the grip. Rear left didn't have enough grip, and he just oversteered off the track, and was a big hit. Luckily, there were tires there, tire barriers, because then a solid hit to the quad rail would have been a bigger one. But
it would.
This car, in my opinion, is not going to start for the race.
No, I think so.
I think
Looking at the rear quarter here by the fuel filler, I think there's too much. So it's either going to be spare car.
Spare car, yeah.
Yeah, he'll have to take a T-car.
And hopefully he's okay.
He seems okay. He's out the car. And hats off to Ferrari for the design on the 296 Challenge car. Yeah, that's a proper safety cell in there, and he was able to walk away from what was a pretty hard hit into the wall at the end of qualifying. Copper Shell then, pole sitter Mike Chen from Gary Ott. Chen, super smooth. Gary Ott, really aggressive. Who's going to take it in turn one? Chuck Whitler, Michael Owens. Owens qualified fourth, but he had that big shunt at the end. Is that going to knock his confidence? Has he got a T-car, or the team? Have they got another car they can put him out in? Kevin Orsini and Brian Waltersdorf, Brad Evans, Ryan Dayton. Dayton doing well for P8. Dayton, a new name to the series. Javier Rodriguez Borgio, Luis Flory, Joel Rose, Andrew Parker, Michael Moyes and Roy Carroll down to P14 in Copper Shell. Right, that is it. Thank you very much to Nina J. Paul down in the pit lane and Tony Verlander here in commentary with me. My name is Andrew Coley. We hope you guys will be joining us later on today. We're going to bring you the all the racing action at 1:40 local time. That's 13:40 local time. We are on the west coast of America, so you can look up Los Angeles if you're wondering what time that'll be. And join us later on for the first race of the 2026 Ferrari Challenge North America. See you then.